se me ha ocurrido que sería importante tener algún criterio para evaluar nuestros gobiernos.
I have realized it would be important to have some criteria for evaluating our governments. In my talk about Latin America, I have insisted that it is more important to look at the direction in which revolutionary states are going than the speed of which they are progressing. What is important is not the extent to which the governments are doing things, because what they can do depends largely on what possibilities governments have. If there is favorable correlation of forces, if the parliament approves the project, if they have economic resources, etc. So to evaluate whether or not the government is proceeding, or if it has the intention of proceeding towards our goal, we think that observing the direction the step it is taking is fundamental. It is possible that the country is taking fewer steps because the correlation of forces is less favorable. What is important then is that those few steps are in the direction of the objective sought and not towards restructuring capitalism. Then, for evaluating if our governments are making progress or not, which criteria can we employ? Here I want to offer some that could allow us to make an objective evaluation of the progress. What is the attitude of our governments towards neoliberalism? Do they criticize the logic of capitalism? Do they attack it ideologically? Do they use the state to weaken it? Are they moving to diminish the gap between the richest and the poorest? Are they giving the latter more access to education, health, and housing? Are measures being taken to ensure there is a fairest distribution of wealth between the richest and the poor municipalities? Knowing that the inherited neoliberal state apparatus places huge obstacles in the way to any progress in building a different kind of society, do they convene constituent process to change the rules of the institutional game? Do they strive to increase the number of people registered to vote, given that the poor are usually less likely to be on the electoral rolls? Is the goal of satisfying human needs considered more important than that of accumulating capital? Do they understand that human development cannot be achieved through a state that is merely paternalistic, one which solves problems but transforming its people into beggars? Do they understand that human development can only be achieved through practice and therefore strive to create spaces in which popular protagonism is possible? Do they reject foreign intervention, foreign military bases, and humiliating treaties? Are they recovering their sovereignty and their natural resources? Have they made progress in finding solutions to problems of media hegemony, which until now has been in the hands of the conservative forces? Are they promoting the recuperation of national cultural traditions? Do they respect and encourage the protagonism of women? Are they making progress in eliminating all kinds of discrimination, sexual orientation, gender, ethnicity, religion, etc.? Is social ownership of the means of production increasing, and are the workers more and more the protagonists of the workplace? Is the distance between intellectual and manual workers growing smaller? Is workers' capacity for self-management and self-government increasing? Is the gap between the countryside and the city diminishing? Are these governments dealing with the problems of industrial pollution? Is the use of transgenic crops being eliminated? Are educational campaigns to promote environmental protection being promoted? Are practical measures for recycling rubbish being encouraged and undertaken? Are measures to help other countries being adopted? Do these governments mobilize the workers and people in general in order to carry out certain measures? And are they contributing to an increase in their abilities and power? Do they understand the need for organized and politicized people, one that can exercise pressure to weaken the inherited state apparatus and thus drive forward the transformation process? Do they understand that our people must be the protagonists and not supporting actors? Do they listen to the people and let them speak? Do they understand they can rely on people to fight the errors and deviation that come up along the way? Do they give them resources and call on them to exercise social control over the process? In sum, are they contributing to the creation of popular subject that is increasingly the protagonist and gradually assuming the responsibilities of government? I believe those are some criteria which allow us to make an objective evaluation of the progress made by those governments that have explicitly set themselves the goal of building 21st century socialism.